Welcome to Sports Jazz. Isaac, David, Josh. We are back again streaming. Thank you, everyone that has been waiting for us. I see a couple of people have been online waiting. Well, we're setting off right now, and today we have a very, very interesting topic. A topic that most of you guys shouldn't miss. We are going to be speaking about Liverpool. I know because before we did before we did an episode where we were speaking about Liverpool's trying to see how it's going to be. Are they going to perform poorly, especially after Klopp left? But well, it looks like one would argue that we were wrong. So, and for that, we are back, all Liverpool fans. We have something special for you, David, Josh, Isaac, myself, right here on Sports Jazz. Subscribe, like, and share our videos. Let's roll, guys. Yeah, Josh, hope you guys are all fine. As I said, we have an interesting topic today. We're going to be speaking about Liverpool, and let's dive right into it right away. David, I'll start with you today. What makes Liverpool unbeatable this season? I mean, I'm not saying. I'm saying what makes it. It looks like it's going to be one of those teams that is going to torment other teams, especially considering how they performed in the preseason. The game again is Ipswich Town. I mean, it's Ipswich Town, but the lineup, the setup of the manager. What makes Liverpool unbeatable this year? Is it a team? Is it still a force to reckon with, even after Klopp's departure, David?
Yeah, I believe it is. In fact, I hold a strong conviction that Liverpool may actually actively competing for top two positions.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario will be third place, but they look like a team in good shape. And maybe it's hard to understand Liverpool without first understanding the man onslaught. So we've been watching those preseason friendlies, and we tried to sort of predict and see how he's going to set up his team on the one hand, but also on the other, to just see what makes him different to Klopp, but also what makes him a good, let's say, replacement to carry forward the project that Klopp was building. And this man is a winner. This man is a winner because he came off the back of a championship with Feyenoord, and even before that, he had been winning things. Although the preseason gave us a sense of what he's truly like on the pitch, he sets up his teams very, very nicely. If you remember, he set up against Arsenal a team that was passing a lot, creating overloads, and they were going toe-to-toe with Arsenal. Almost in a very similar way, apart from a few small differences in how they positioned the different roles on the pitch.
Yeah.
But they were passing, building up from the back, combination play. You know, you could see all those ingredients in the way that he wants to play. And then against United, he switched things up almost completely. He was playing a game that reminded us a lot of Klopp, end to end, you know, beating them on the counter, sucking them in, you know, pressing them. And we had a chance to see his first full minutes in the Premier League against opposition that I have a belief opposition that will cause problems for anyone who is not well prepared. Ipswich has some good players, even though they don't have that strong of a reputation. They have a centre forward, Liam Delap.
Yeah,
Liam Delap belongs to the class of the Cole Palmers, the Romeo Lavias. He was in that same class at Man City. And in fact, in that season of 2020, 2021, Liam Delap was the top scorer in that class of Man City under 21s. He had 27 goals in 21 appearances. So they have firepower. Then they have, on the other side, they have Omari Hutchison, an ex-Arsenal player, who I personally liked at the time, but he left for Chelsea and a couple of other things. But he's now at Ipswich. With those, and then they have a good manager, who I believe is also one to watch this season. So I expected Ipswich to cause problems for Liverpool, to be honest, and maybe I probably overestimated them. But you could see that in the first half, Ipswich was. They really wanted to bring the game to Liverpool. They set up a full pitch press, man to man with Liverpool, And then, we saw Anslot coming up with a very unique solution for that type of thing. He played
Josh, sorry, David, Josh. Oh, guys, we're really having connection issues. The guys are off, but yeah, we're still looking into Liverpool right now. Uh, I also think Ipswich is not a very strong team. It's not a very strong team, but they did. It looks like it's a team that is going to disturb. It's going to give people problems. It looks like a team that is going to give people problems. And yesterday we saw Liverpool playing against Ipswich. David, you're back.
Yeah.
I'm back
Okay,
too.
yeah. Okay, all right, guys. Let's continue. Yeah, David. In a minute, I was talking about how
Yes.
Ipswich is also a formidable force, a team that is likely to upset teams, big teams this season
Yeah.
in EPL.
In short, it seems to me that we have seen different questions being asked, and Anslot has showed us very clearly that he's not going to be boxed into any type of profile. He's a typical
Yeah.
Dutch manager. He knows how to play proactively, and he's not. We're not going to say he plays like, he sets his teams up like, let's say, Guardiola, as is very easy to say. He has very different solutions for the very different tests, and we have seen
Mm.
that so far in I think his last 3 or 4 games.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, Josh. What's your impression of the post-COVID era under Anslot? What's your impression?
Well, well,
Post club or
like
post
I
COVID?
post club. Oh,
Post-club. Sorry,
post
not
club. You
COVID.
meant?
Post-club. Post-club. Sorry. Post-club.
Yeah, but like you should, you already know that I admire the manager. One is a Dutchman, and I do believe Dutchmen are football people. They do understand football in a different way, and much as we do relate Anslot to possession heavy style of football. We do know that he's a dynamic manager, like we have seen, like Davi has ably talked about the different types of tactics that he was using during the preseason. But speaking of the Ipswich game, I was impressed by what he did, because I like a manager who is bold enough to make decisions when things are not going right. And in the first half, you would see that Liam Delap gave Jarell Kwanzaa quite a bit of headache at the back. He was winning duels off him and stuff like that. And Anslot was not happy about it, and at halftime he chose to pull him off to bring in Konate. So that is a decision that is bold enough, and it speaks to a manager who is serious about getting the job done. He did not care about how the media will respond to him or stuff like that, but he needed his team to get back into the game. And the other thing was the approach of Anslot in the second half. The team talk he had to give his team was really
Mm.
good. You would see that for the first time, actually, since Gravenberch was brought to Liverpool, he
Very
played
interesting
a
player.
very outstanding game. He
Mm.
played so well yesterday. It's the first time I've seen him play that well. He would come, break lines with the passes. We know he can dribble. He would dribble. He would pick the right spots. He would play the ball forward, even when he had an easier pass to play it backwards. For the first goal that they scored, every Liverpool player touched that ball. Every Liverpool player touched that, apart from Sobosolai. Imagine, of all
Yeah,
people, Sobosolai is the one who didn't touch it. But
another
the
good
turn
player.
that Gravenberch made to pass the ball to Salah for the 1-2 to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think
Yeah.
I think that was beautiful. That was Anslot working the channels, and I was trying to see what Anslot meant when he was talking about him using the hot zone. you can see that much as Salah was involved, he assisted and scored a goal. It was not really from a wide position. Yes, it was from a wide position, but not wide position. It was a bit infield. For the pass to assist Jota, it was played infield, and for his goal, it was almost in the box. So that's really a good thing to see. Salah is on song. Salah is ready. He's sharp. He looks like he's going to be quite the player this season for Liverpool.
Thank you so much, guys. That was a beautiful one. Moving on, still on Liverpool, Ancelot's team selection. We saw the selection he did, the players he picked on Saturday, playing against Ipswich. Again, referring to that very game. I'm using this the game against Ipswich because the other ones being pre-season, they were kids mixed. Then other players they play one play halftime, the other ones play the second half. But yeah, in a game against Ipswich on Saturday, the style of play, I mean the formation, and I also realize he has players that he really likes and he cannot keep out of his team. His players like Mohamed Salah, of course, any manager would not love to leave him outside. He likes Diaz. He's even washed and showered him praises in one of his conferences, trying to shower him praises. And asked about Nunez, he said, "Yeah, Nunez is fit, he's ready to go, but he doesn't like leaving him outside of the team. But unfortunately, he had no options. Although Nunez is also going to be coming back very soon. So for you, Josh, I mean, is it because do you think his style of play favors? And in Nunez, he was playing Jota. Do you think his style of play doesn't favor Nunez? But the whole picture that I want you to portray is his team selection, formation, how he switches up, build up, then in transition. I mean, how do you explain that? Give me a good insight about Onslaught, Josh.
Well, I do believe that Nunes can actually play in that side. Nunes is good
Mm,
enough to play in Anslot side because he's not really an out and out striker. Because he can play, he can actually come deep and play football. So
mm,
even if he switched up the style, Nunes would be able to play. But the thing though is, if you have Diogo Jota at the start of the season and Jota is fit, play Jota because you might not have him for so long.
mm.
But play him, yeah, play him
Because
for
of
as
his
long as you have
injury
him.
problems. Yeah.
Yes. You never know when he's not going to be around. So I don't have a problem with Jota, though. That is a good headache to have. If you have Jota and Nunes as the players to choose from, it's a very good headache to have. Any manager would welcome. Any manager would welcome it.
Thank you, David.
Yeah,
Something to share
it's
on Anslot's
yeah.
formation style of
I
play. Mm,
This is where I agree with this is where I agree with Josh on his praises for the Dutch. You see,
yeah.
the thing is, this man is Dutch through and through. So and for us here, we have probably the benefit of not being we cannot be crucified by let's say the wider football audience, so we can speak very brutally and very honestly. The truth is,
Mm,
based on the purist's eye, I think Jota is more pleasant to have in the team. Technically, he's very neat with the ball. He's precise with his finish. His efficiency is quite high. He doesn't need so many chances, and therefore, for a man who comes from Dutch football, he will be naturally inclined to select Jota, even if he will sprinkle a few words to color the situation and make it look like, oh, he regrets leaving Nunes out. Yeah,
mm,
but then we know that the fact that he's in the Premier League, there are problems that Nunes is going to solve, that challenges that Nunes is going to solve that Jota will struggle to solve. For example, the physical aspects, right?
yeah.
Which is precisely why Kwanzaa was taken off and who Konate was brought on, because there's a physical element to the Premier League and it requires a physical solution. Nunes is the kind of guy who will not be afraid to get into duels. he will most likely win them. He has the size. He's also very powerful. He's a powerful runner, fast, relentless. Those are things that the nimble operator that Jota is may not have, or they may not come naturally for him. So this is one of the benefits of having a Dutchman, leading a team. You'll see more of the purist's flavor of football. You'll see nice, neat use of the ball at the feet. So that's the proposition, the value proposition that Jota has. Otherwise, I imagine there will be time and occasion for Nunes to come in soon.
Guys, sorry, Josh, sorry about that. Uh, sorry, I was checking in something. So, Josh, moving on, how do you see Liverpool? I mean, the next 8 games, are they going to be beating teams? Because I mean, we've seen they've beaten teams in the preseason, and of course, yeah, they beat United.
Where do you want to hang us out to dry?
No,
As in
I'm
10
not. I'm not.
games.
I'm not.
Really? As
Yeah,
in, how do you
in
see
10
Liverpool
games.
in 10 games?
Mm,
Nah, it's okay. Yeah, Liverpool. Ancelotti is doing a job, and I don't think that his ideas are yet across the team, much as the players appeared to be picking on what he intends to do and what he wants to do. But I do feel as a first as a manager in his first season in the Premier
yeah.
League, he will not that he will be found out, but he will find it very very difficult to get a string of winning games, because anyone can surprise you in the Premier League. And the players that they do have, Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Mohamed Salah, um, Diogo Jota, these are players that have played in the Premier League for quite some time, and they have the experience, and they will help him. They will help him for a while. But when push comes to shove, I don't think that Liverpool can win 10 games on the bounce, just because he's a new manager, but not because he's incapable.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, David.
Yeah, I
David.
think Josh has now put on his United hat.
Yeah, I know.
He has now put on his United hat. He has removed the Dutch hat.
Yeah.
And maybe also because the game after next, Liverpool is actually going to
Yeah,
play
yeah.
United.
So he's
So
trying
he's
to.
hoping that,
David.
he's
David.
hoping that, yeah. But
David. Yeah.
look,
Sorry.
the way I see it,
Mm,
the way I see it, this guy, for me, he just keeps impressing me. I'm truly impressed by him on the one hand, but he also has me concerned about our title, the Arsenal side, our title charge, because the way he's set up, the variety that he has in his tactical book, his problem solving, you can see the substitutions he made. They were very sensible, almost unexpected for someone who's just had one game in the Premier League. This man's sure-footed in everything he does. He also has a few things working for him. His team is not exactly fresh. It's the same crop of players who have been working together. And the other thing that is at play here is when you hear the comments. We in the preseason we talked about some of the younger players and how they were enjoying themselves. So after the Ipswich game, Salah was one of those saying he's been intrigued by the way the coach is conducting the training sessions and the new ideas he's bringing in. You almost have a sense that these players are enjoying themselves, and when that happens, only good things can result out of that. So even if I can't tell you what exactly is going to come out of the next 10 games, I am strongly convinced that Liverpool may actually put together a good string of W's in the next few games. The next coming games. Well, I don't want to talk about the United one.
Well, it can't really
But I
be the
believe they
next
are going to
coming
win.
games, because United is after the next one.
Yeah, but this is and here's the other thing. He's already faced United once, right? He seems to me as a guy who does his homework. You see the way he faced Arsenal. very different way from what he did against United. And now he's having a
True.
second occasion with United. So you want to believe in a very real sense that this is not going to be a simple game at all. It's a hard one to call. So there's reason to be optimistic if you are a Liverpool fan.
Thank you. And what I wanted to also talk about is the situation with Zubimendi. Anslot did say in one of his interviews, in one of his presses, that they've moved on from Zubimendi, and they will see. Although news are saying they will go back in January. How does that affect them? Is their midfield capable, Josh, of uh, keep? Can they keep going in the midfield with Zubimendi not coming through?
I didn't think it was actually possible for them to go into the new season without a number six. But when Anslot chose to play Gravenbach in the number six role, he owned it. I know you can say that it was lesser opposition, but at least in that second half, he had 71 touches and he made 59 passes. Okay, that's not like mind blowing, but it was the second in the game. And Gravenbach, for all his time at Liverpool, he's not had that good a game like he did that time. So I think having McAllister do what McAllister does, which is run up and down, and Gravenbach to actually be more calm and composed, and be a Dutchman with a football brain, to just uh, be composed, um, calm, pick your passes, distribute the ball. Gravenbach will do them good until Zubimendi comes in January, because even Sociedad might be willing to sell Zubimendi in January.
Thank you. Yeah, and I
Hopefully,
also think,
yeah, there's
yeah, yeah,
there's
yes,
there's
David.
personally, I'm actually glad that we're now starting to agree on Gravenbach. I seem to think, as far as Liverpool is concerned, that player could be one of the revelations of the season. He
Yeah.
was very impressive against Ipswich, but also I saw him in the Arsenal game in the preseasons. He might just strike a good combination with McAllister, because we know that McAllister, for all intents and purposes, is probably the best roving central defensive midfielder they have. And then probably Gravenbach will be the deeper one, more creative one, but then they will have McAllister roving around him. And that partnership may just actually work. It feels that if they are to even eventually go for Zubimendi or anyone else for that matter, whoever
Mm.
comes in may have problems, especially if these two start to actually click, as we saw them clicking in the last few
Preseason
games
games.
that, yeah, the preseason games.
Yeah.
He's a different kind, different profile, but he
Mm.
does things nicely. Already we know that Anslot wants to play, or he has a propensity to play a very, very narrow game. He wants to force his way through the middle, through nice combinations and all that type of stuff. We've seen Gravenbach do that very well. He will not. He's not very eager to pass sideways, because Liverpool doesn't even expand the pitch like that. But he's inclined to go centrally, through the central axis, and just do things in the middle, make things happen. So
Mm.
I think whoever they bring in might face problems if Gravenbach and
And
McAllister make it work.
and by the way, but I think if Zubimendi was to come, McAllister was going to sit down. Okay, was going to be
Yeah.
benched, not necessarily sit, but he was going to be benched.
Yeah, that's
You know,
very, very likely. Very, very likely.
and
Because
and I've been
because
trying to
Zubimendi
go
is a
through.
different level.
Yeah, I've been trying to go through the to check if they have anything coming in as far as the transfer is concerned, but it looks like I mean, their transfer business this season has been very, very slow, not very fast. And although their team looks fine, I don't anyway think they need a lot of people, a lot of players to come in. Apart from that Zubimendi position, I really thought it needs, and I still think it needs reinforcement, because you don't know, they have no options if those two are not playing.
Yeah.
David. Mm,
It could now, at this point, it could go whichever way, because there's
mm,
just a few days left, for the season. I mean, the transfer window to close. But
yeah.
then the guys who are available are also doing a good job. We haven't even yet
Mm.
seen Endo, even though we feel that his profile is not suited to Ancelot's style of play. But
Yeah.
the internal solutions may actually make things work. If he gets someone from outside, it will just be a compliment at this point.
And
The way I
Liverpool
see it.
looks, by the way, they look very very organized internally. I mean, compared to what's happening to Chelsea, we shall come back. Rather, we are going to get into
Or,
Chelsea, but
or
they look.
United.
It looks like FSB. United is now becoming fine. Just shouldn't have let you see that. But United is also now looking good with Dan Ashworth, Nistre coming in, the set pitch manager. It looks like
Yeah.
they are trying to crawl back to, of course, not to the top, but they are trying to crawl back to with a system that looks more organized. And yeah, David, do you think
Yeah.
Liverpool will be will they be competing for the top two or top four?
Oh yes, top three at worst. If
Top
Arsenal
three.
has to bring its A game, yeah, top three definitely.
Yeah.
For me, the way it looks to me is they may be a very strong third position, but I don't believe Liverpool is out there thinking let's compete for the top three. I'm sure they are
Mm,
competing for the top spot. They probably feel like you can see the way they're playing. They have already
yeah.
beaten, tried themselves against let's say United and Arsenal, and that's a
Yeah.
good way to take the temperature for your readiness. I think they are going for top honors.
And I also think the choice of, I mean, the players he picked. You watched the game against Ipswich. His lineup, of course, had Allison. They had Arnold, Van Dijk, the captain. But my my best part was the forwards, where you have Salah. How do you pronounce it? You know the name disturbs me. How is SOZ? Sorry, SZO. What's
Zoboslai,
Zobola? Yeah, Zoboslai.
Zoboslai.
The name really plays me. Yeah, they had
We
Salah,
all butcher that one.
Zoboslai, Zoboslai. They had Diaz, who I think is really doing so good, and they had Jota as well. And once that team really clicks and I mean they get that chemistry, it looks like a team that is going to be scoring a lot of goals. With Salah looking like he's still fresh.
High scoring,
Yeah,
definitely high scoring. It's going to be
high
a very high
scoring.
scoring. First of all, the way that they play is just unique. Teams are going to have
Yeah,
to take some time. I think by the time the second half of the Premier League starts, uh, we shall see some resistance. But with the first half of the Premier League, we're going to see very high scoring games because you can tell that people are still figuring out what kind of animal Liverpool is. They have so many solutions, and what
yeah.
they're doing is working so far. Salah is on top. He's in just top form. Let me say, because form
He
is an
looks
issue of
sharp.
performance, but you can tell that he's ready to go, whichever the opponent is. He put one past Arsenal, he put one past Ipswich, and it's all looking almost willful. So I envision high scoring games for Liverpool in that regard. Jota is still fit. It's going
Yeah,
to happen.
yeah. Josh, while you're away, David said Liverpool is in the top three. He has created his own top three, and he says Arsenal has to bring the A game. Where do you see Liverpool? Are they winning the? I mean, is there any chance that they are going to win the trophy? And if they are not winning EPL, assuming they finish in the first, second, or even third, or even fourth, are they bringing any trophy this season? Because they look sharp with the setup Anselo did bring out on setup formation, the play. Josh, your mic. Do they look? Do they look sharp? Are they likely to win something? Josh, your mic. I can't hear you. Josh, I can't hear you. David.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're saying, yeah,
for me, my justification for top three is very, very clear.
yeah,
Most of the teams, even those that we hope to lead the log this season,
yeah,
have an element of course, with the exception of Arsenal, that has
mm,
already set themselves up. Most of the
mm,
teams, you can think of Chelsea, you can think of the usual suspects. Of course,
yeah,
we can also throw uh, probably like who, Newcastle, there, Spurs, those teams that are in the business to compete. I'm not going to say to win because there's usually only one winner. The teams that usually comprise the competing lot are still
Yeah.
figuring themselves out. They're still figuring themselves out in key things. Some of them have fractured backlines. We see all the issues with Chelsea. Chelsea is still struggling to even nail down a regular 11. The go-to guys,
Man,
usually the best
Chelsea,
teams.
Chelsea, no one understands Chelsea. But right after this, we are going to dedicate around 10 minutes talking about Chelsea. And Pay the Toll says some of the Liverpool players play like they have a point to prove. It could be
Indeed,
right with
they
the new
do.
manager inside because you want to improve the
Yeah,
manager. Sorry, you want to
yeah.
impress the manager. So that could also be right. That could be very right. Could be very right.
Yeah, because the current
Mm,
players do not have any loyalty points with Ancelot. It's not like
yeah.
this one has grown to become Klopp's favorite, or this one has grown to become, they are all operating from a clean slate. With the
Yeah.
exception of Salah, the rest have to show cause. They have to show why they should be selected.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you, Josh. Sorry, Josh is. I keep calling Josh. David, sorry. Let's dive into the game yesterday. Leicester City, Leicester City versus Tottenham Hotspurs. Game ended 1-1, and the highlight of the game was Jamie Vardy, who was not supposed to play. He played through some pain. He had to be. I saw him even taking a Red Bull before the second half started. Uh, he came on, he came in as a backup player because the main 3 days ago, before the game, the striker, their forward, got an injury, so he wasn't able to play, and they had to rely on Vardy, who volunteered, stepped up, came on, played yesterday. He was a threat. He scored an equalizer, and even shortly after, he had a ball that he had to play so well, but the keeper played so well to put the ball out. And in fact, Postecoglou was not very happy. Him saying he takes responsibility of the whole, how his players performed, but he wasn't so happy with the players, the way they gave out that lead. Um, is Leicester coming back strong, or it's one of those games
Yeah,
that they had and
well, I don't think they'll come back strong. They'll be
mm,
lucky to stay in the league. However, kudos to
yeah,
them for last night because new coach, some of the
mm,
players have left. It's just it almost feels like some of their fire keeps getting plucked out.
mm,
And also Postecoglou has given himself you know, a rope to hang himself because he's hanging himself publicly because he said before that usually in his second season he wins something. That's a very bold thing to say, especially
yeah,
given that we see that we see that teams are out there beefing up their squads and assembling so many pieces, to just strengthen themselves. I don't feel as though Spurs is in that picture. You could talk of, because they usually go for, let's say, top four, top five. I don't feel that they're in the picture this season. I don't feel that his team is not yet at that level yet.
mm.
Very confident of him to think that. I don't know why he's saying that. Maybe he knows something that we don't. But I give all the credit to Leicester for what they did. I honestly had predicted a loss. I had predicted a
For
loss
they played so well. They
for
brought their A game.
yeah. I expected Spurs to dismantle them, but they did good for themselves. That's usually what you want from a player like Vardy. And when you
Mm,
look at the weekend games, it's usually it was actually the big players who stood out.
yeah,
United, well,
that
Joshua
was that.
Zirkzee will quickly become one of those for
Yeah,
United. But even at Arsenal, you could see Saka. Liverpool,
as
you could
always.
see Salah. So we expect
Mm.
that from
And
Vardy,
Jota,
even
yeah,
if
yeah.
he's aging. Yeah, and
Mm.
Jota, yeah, that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, David. And let's dive into Chelsea real quick. Let's dive into Chelsea real quick. Joshua, come back. Uh, Guys, what's happening at Chelsea? What's the mess? I mean, the Gallagher situation. How one would say it was not rather handled well. But again, I do not go for the head of Enzo, Todd Boyle, and whoever's at Chelsea about that situation. Reason being, Gallagher was offered a new contract. He turned it down. Of course, we know he's a fan's favorite. Even in the game that they lost against Man City, their opening game in this season, EPL, you could hear the fans chanting and singing, praising, showering Gallagher praises and all that. But I do not really blame them so much on that. The only problem is I think his transfer was messed up with one of the Atletico players that I don't know, things failed to go through. But now, as we speak right now, Yao Felix is already, I think he's passed his medical. The medical, everything is done. So Gallagher should be announced officially as an Atletico Madrid player. But let's talk about their squad. I mean, the squad needs trimming. Chelsea squad, they have very many players that have come
and they're still
expensively,
buying.
and they're still buying. I don't know why they should, rather why they shouldn't stop buying. You see, they just got Yao Felix. At least let them try out something. On they have over 40 to 45 players, so I think their squad faces Chelsea faces a very, very huge challenge, and they need to streamline. Their squad is too oversized. You see the way they've handled Raheem Sterling's situation. Even agents of Raheem Sterling had to come out and make a statement about all that. Todd Boyle walking out.
That was wrong. That was wrong.
Yeah. Look,
I do not blame Chelsea at all. If anything, it's very childish of Raheem Sterling's representatives with a few days left to the end of the window to come out and be throwing jabs like that because he was left out of a squad for the first game of the league. You understand? As in, if you're interested in moving on your player, as in just whatever, go to your employee, put in a transfer request, and make it clear that you want
looks
to
like he doesn't
club.
want to put in a transfer request. He wants to stay. I know we've seen reports that Juventus is interested, but he doesn't want to stay.
No, that is in-house. As in, they would have just. It was the wrong timing for them to say that, and the fact that they did say that, perhaps they want much more, or they're creating the chaos at Chelsea. There's already enough chaos at Chelsea. You don't need to lose 2-0.
But Josh,
2-0 to Man City and whatever at the back of the loss. The representatives of one of your players are coming.
This is what the representatives are saying. This is what the representatives are saying. In the training, okay, before the first game against Man City, everything was fine. Sterling was not informed whether he's going to be left out or anything. Then at the last minute, he's told, there's you being told that you're not going to be part of the squad this much, but they're literally telling him he's not part of the plans. Enzo Maresca's
no, that is not true. That is not true. They are overstretching it because that's how it works.
Because he said they trained. He said they trained. He trained very well.
Yes, look here, Isaac. The standards are set by the manager at the club for what he wants to be done for you to be involved in his squad. And if you're not involved in a match day squad, it does not mean the manager is writing you off, that he does not need you for the season. He has just looked around. He has over 45 players on the books of Chelsea.
And all mid players.
Yeah, but even if they're mid players, Sterling is the most.
Sorry, David. Josh.
Yeah, I actually agree with Josh. You see, when you think of the situation at Chelsea, it's not as though the coach or the manager has a specific grudge with Sterling. Just think for a second about what their training session must look like. Under normal circumstances, a training session, at least every player gets the chance, to play and to train. But I highly suspect Chelsea even has, people who are not getting game time even in the training. Some of those players, I'm quite certain, don't even play in training. They'll just sit and watch because the numbers are overwhelming. So it's not a specific grudge against Sterling only. He's probably the most experienced player in that side. He should do things differently. If he feels that he wants to force his way, let him.
Do you see why I say it's not fair to him? It's not fair to him because players like Romelu Lukaku, Trevor Chalobah, is it Armando Borja, Kepa, all these players were informed that they are surplus. Sterling, there was no communication at all. Then you reach,
Because
you're training very
you
well.
see,
Yeah,
Isaac,
Josh, no, you're training very well. Then at the last minute, team selection, which is okay, maybe they leave you out today, it's fine, but they also tell you you're not part of our plans.
no one has said that. No one has said that. You
No, you
see,
saw what their agent, rather, what his agent put out yesterday online.
yeah, but you see, the representatives did put that, but they're only telling you that they're not convinced. Their camp is not convinced. They need clarity on what is happening. Now, if you've not been informed that you're surplus, if you were informed that if at any point Chelsea had informed Sterling, his representatives, that Sterling is surplus to requirements, there's no
Yeah.
need for them to write a letter seeking clarity on the matter, because they would clearly know what is happening. But that means he has not been told anything, is just been omitted from the squad. The standards were set by the manager, and the manager knows exactly. He has 45 players, as in he only has to choose 20 in a match day squad. And
No,
I don't think that Enzo Maresca's first decision would be to throw a player under the bus with that much experience. He's the
but
most
Josh,
experienced in the club now, and he's
yeah,
quite a
but
player. Starting on form, you're not going to play Nkuku or
sorry,
Madueke in the
I'm
wings.
laughing because of I don't know what this is. I don't know. Are
Yeah,
you
I
guys
also
seeing
didn't
the
get it.
comment section?
Yeah,
Are,
we
are you
have
reading
Seen
the
it.
comment
Japanese
section?
friend.
Yeah, I seen it.
I think that was my wife. Anyway, I won't put that up. Yeah, Adieri, we are going to come real quick. Adieri, let's get back to you. But hi, Zach, Josh, and David. How are you? Joe Gomez, Mark. Forget about Margehi. It looks like you guys have done it. 4 bids have been rejected, and the fourth one was okay. 60 plus 5 add-ons, which is 65 altogether. Then the Juventus player that you're talking about, no, I don't think he's going to come to you. Raheem Sterling, he's not coming. He might actually go to Juventus. Yeah, that's it. Adiedi, unfortunately, the transfer news are not favoring you. Then
But
the
also,
gentleman
those
is
guys
also,
have FFP issues.
yeah, they also have some FFP issues. And
So most of those links are not valid.
do you
They're
think
not
Lukaku
real.
will go to Napoli? 100% Lukaku
Oh,
is going to go to Napoli.
but
I hope you go.
he's written again clearer.
Yeah, he's saying, do you think Lukaku will go to Napoli?
Yeah, I
Maybe
still
not
think it.
Napoli, but Lukaku is not coming back to Chelsea. That's what I know. And it looks like, yeah, it might be Napoli.
The
Yeah.
stumbling block for that transaction is the fees that
Yeah, the fees
any
are
team needs
crazy.
to
And
work with.
they are trying to put in Victor Osimhen, the Napoli forward. Josh, again, back to Chelsea. Yeah, back to Chelsea. Let's look
Yeah.
at their striking. I saw John Obi also crying over the weekend, whining, after the loss. Who puts Jackson as their main player to look for goals? He
Not even
wobbles with the
Senegal.
ball.
Not even Senegal.
I don't get it. That's why we were having an argument last time, although you and David said you would pick Jackson over. But I mean, I would fidget and put Cole Palmer in that position.
No way.
Listen.
You've lost two
I would have two
players.
people. I would no, because right now you have no strike. I don't. Is he going to give you 20 goals, Jackson? He's not going to give you
Oh,
even 15 goals.
neither will. Maybe he will if he's given penalty duties. He scored just as much as Palmer scored from
See, Josh,
open play.
put Nkuku. See, me, I would do. By the way,
Yeah,
Enzo is also
Nkuku is a
Maresca is
proper
not
striker.
Maresca. The team that played, we talked about it yesterday, with the team that played against
But it wasn't Jackson
Man
to
City.
blame for one thing.
He's
Enzo
peak,
Fernandez
no.
was to blame.
Yeah, Enzo Fernandez. I mean, he could have placed Cole Palmer on Nkuku behind who? Behind Jackson, who I also think is not really doing well. David, if you're available, please let me know, unmute. Then Chelsea also, they are loaning out players. They have over 20 to 25 players on loan who they loan every single season. Every season, they are loaning out players. Every season, they are loaning out players. Then you have Tori Boyle, who first came. Every player they pointed, every player Manchester United wanted, every player Man City wanted, every player every big team that wanted to go for a player, Chelsea would later go and pay ridiculous amounts, and they get him. Something that I feel has really, really affected them. They have not done so well. Todd Boehly should step out of the transfer business, out of the football business, and let him be seated in an office, AC, chilling, and let him get people, football directors that can do that job, Josh. Because it
He
may
has
take a
football
long time
directors.
getting them. They have very
He
many
has
players. They
football
have good
directors
players.
at Chelsea, but whomever is going to be at Chelsea, it will take quite some time to get things right. Remember, Chelsea has players on very large contracts, and these players are going to be there for a long time. So,
And I also agree with what NI87 is saying. They need a decent goalkeeper. Sanchez is.
they
I
had
agree. Sanchez
one.
is mid.
They had
Who?
Petrovic. They had
Oh, yeah. By the way,
Petrovic.
Petrovic. They
But
had Petrovic.
now even Jorgensen is good. Philip
Uh,
Jorgensen, guy they
yeah.
got from Villarreal, he will
Yeah.
fit into Enzo Maresca's style of play.
Then it's NI87 says, I personally wouldn't mind going to Chelsea. I mean, if I signed for
No, exactly.
8 years for 200 per week, I would have more
Agreed.
than enough
Agreed.
to retire. Yeah, that is true, by the way. That is
100%.
true. Because you have Modric. How much is Modric getting?
It's
Earning?
just free money. A footballer's career is short.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. And I know those long contracts. That's Todd Boehly.
Get the-
Yeah. I know those long contracts is Todd Boehly trying to dodge FFP rules, something that Man City is, by the way, going through right now. But anyway, guys, I see N1 N187 is saying, where are you guys from? We're from I'll say point blank, it's Uganda. We're from Uganda, but we're very good when it comes to sports. In fact, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. We always come through. We have guys like Nick Fadley, who you just missed, is off. Yeah.
Isaac, sorry, I
Yeah.
was saying,
Yeah.
with Chelsea, you also get the opportunity to live in London, to enjoy the life in London on 200K, and you're not even training for
But
8 years.
but Josh, they should stop signing players. It doesn't look funny anymore. It doesn't look good anymore. I mean, it's worse. Todd Boyle had to walk off after the second game. That is also very bad. Sit, concede if there are 5 goals, go out gently, then storm, throw
Perhaps he's
shoes,
just a
hit
sore
the walls.
loser. It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with Enzo Maresca. Maybe it's just a sore loser
Yeah.
himself.
Now, NI87 is throwing stones. Uganda looks like a beautiful country. Each African country has won a World Cup. Yeah, that is true. That is true. Unfortunately, I think we've only managed to reach, was it Nigeria or Cameroon, the semifinals. But who knows? Who knows? David, you're back. David. Okay, guys. It looks like we're having a few issues with the internet, and we shall have to wind this up. Although it was a really, really interesting topic, it looks like we are going to wind to have this to let this go. Josh, in a
Yeah.
few in a few seconds, what's your overall? You know, summarize it for me,
And
Chelsea. No, Chelsea.
Chelsea. Chelsea.
Yeah,
Uh, for me,
peace,
Chelsea.
peace, and
For me,
one.
Chelsea.
Yeah,
Yeah, for me, Chelsea under Todd Bowley looks like a club that is doing business other than interested in the product on the pitch. They may not be interested in the product on the pitch at all, but they're trying to make a lot of money from football in ways that we never knew were possible. Maybe in 5 years' time, they will be the ones selling players, and the 45 players they do have now on their books would go for crazy amounts of money.
okay, thank you guys. I think we're having really bad connection, guys. Thank you so much, whoever's been tuning in. Sports Jazz, like and share our videos, hit the subscribe button, and yeah, we shall be back tomorrow with another segment. Once again, Shout outs to everyone who's been on. Nick, as always, NI87. Shout outs to you. And that's it for today, guys. Cheers. See you tomorrow.